Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're going to be doing a pre-trip inspection on a coach bus. The engine is in the rear on a coach bus, so we will approach the bus from the rear to start with and do our engine compartment. And so let me turn you around here, and you can see I are open on this bus. So I'll show you how that works. So right now you're seeing the hood up and looking into the engine compartment. We're looking for any leaks, making sure it doesn't lean to the left or to the right. And we're looking at our clearance lights and all of our tail lights and turn signals and backup lights and reflectors to make sure they are all intact. They're clean, secure, not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. And to open the hood on this bus, you actually have to come over here and open the side compartment door. And you have to push this lever up right here, and that will release your hood so that you can check your engine. Right, we'll check the power steering reservoir from right here. You would pull the dipstick and make sure it's between add and full. And then you're going to move back here, and you're looking at the engine oil reservoir here to make sure that it's full, and it is. To check your engine oil otherwise, you pull your dipstick right here, wipe it off, reinsert it, and make sure it's between add and full. Checking your serpentine belts. Should be no more than 3/4 of an inch of play in your belts. All of your belts. Your air compressor oil. Same thing, pull out the dipstick, wipe it off, stick it back in, make sure it's between add and full. And this is a belt-driven air compressor. And then also you're looking at your belt here to make sure it has no more than 3/4 of an inch of play. Checking your hose clamps and your radiator hose clamps and your turbo clamps, and make sure all of that stuff is secure. It's not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. Your coolant reservoir, making sure that it has adequate coolant in it to run the vehicle. On this side, we're looking at the air conditioner compressor and make sure that it is securely mounted. It's not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts, and it is also belt driven. The power steering pump on this one and your power steering lines, you're making sure they're not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts, and that is gear driven. All right. And on this side, you're looking at your radiator. Make sure that it's secure, it's not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. Then we're going to go ahead and close the hood. And as you saw earlier that I had previously opened the hood, and now this has a safety catch lever here. You're making sure that it is in place and it is secure. It's not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. Same thing with your hood. And as we lift the hood, the safety catch lever flips back over out of the way, and then the hood will come down and close and lock in place. Okay, we'll move back over here and close this side door. Okay, now we're going to move down the side of the bus. We're looking at our lights here, making sure they're intact. They're not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. It's side marker and turn signal lights is what we're looking at there. We're looking at our clearance lights up top to make sure they're in place, they're secure, they're not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. We're looking at the glass and make sure it's all secure, it's not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. We're looking at our tires and rims making sure the tires don't have any cuts, bulges, or abrasions of any kind, and you have at least 2 30-second tread depth. You're looking at your rim to make sure it's not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts, and there's no illegal welds. You're looking at your lug nuts to make sure they're in place. They're not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. And if there was a rust trail, you could see that would indicate a loose lug nut. You're looking at your hub to make sure it's secure. It's not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. You would check your valve stem and make sure it has a steel cap on it and that it has at least 120 psi in there. We're going to do the same thing with your drive tires here. That was your tag axle. And you're also checking to make sure it's properly down in the down position. Your drive tires, no less than 2 30-second tread depth, no cuts, bulges, abrasions on the outside. You're looking at your lug nuts again and your hubs and your rims, no cracks, illegal welds or breaks on your rim, no loose lug nuts, rust trail indicating a loose lug nut. Hubs, make sure your hub is secure and it's not loose, cracked, damaged, broken, or missing any parts. Your mud flap is secure, it's not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. And then on the coach bus, it's very challenging to look underneath, and you never want to actually lay all the way up underneath the bus because you can get trapped and or killed due to the make of the bus. The way that it's made, it goes too low to the ground when the air is out. So again, don't lay underneath the bus all the way. Make sure you're in safe range, but you're looking at your suspension and making sure that all of your suspension parts and your springs are in place and they're not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. And you're looking at your rear differential. Make sure it's not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts, and it's not leaking. Your stabilizer bars right there on your side, make sure they're not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts, and the bushings and bolts are in place. And then you're listening and looking for any air leaks. You cannot see all of your frame under here, but the parts of the frame you can see. You're looking for any cracks, damage, broken, loose, or missing parts in your frame. As we move down the side, we're looking at our turn signal lights, making sure they're secure. They're not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. We'll move to the front of the bus. You're looking at your tires to make sure there's no cracks, damage, bulges, or abrasions on your sidewalls, and no less than 4 30-second tread depth on your front steer tires. Looking at your rim, make sure that it's not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. And you're looking at your lug nuts, make sure they're tight, they're not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts, and they're not no rust trails indicating a loose lug nut. Looking at your hub seals, make sure that they're tight, they're not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. Your valve stem, steel valve cap, steel valve stem, it's not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. And if you were to put a gauge on it, it would not be less than 120 psi on this. And the reason for that being more than the school bus tires is this is a heavier bus and they're bigger tires. You want 120 psi. Now, you're looking at your brakes. If we were to be able to see the brakes on this, which is not safe to do so, but again, if we lay down, look underneath the front, we're looking at the front axle, make sure it's secure, not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. It is not. The stabilizer bars are also secure. They're not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. And if you were to chuck the wheels and look at the air brakes, you would have your slack adjusters that would not move more than 1 inch with the brakes set and the wheels chalked. And you're looking for your Carter keys and Carter pins and everything in place on that. And again, like I said before in the back, do not lay all the way underneath these buses. These coach buses get too low. If the suspension goes down, the bus gets too low, and it's not safe to crawl under these buses. So it can happen while you're under the bus. If the suspension loses air pressure, it can come down on you and kill you. So again, just don't get under them unless they're in the proper shop. If you have any questions about anything underneath the bus, you should have a shop examine it and look at it, have it properly maintained in a facility that has the equipment to look at these safely to get under the bus. Now we're looking at the front of the bus. Make sure it's not leaning to the left or to the right, indicating suspension problem. You're looking at your clearance lights and your headlights and your marker lights, park lights, that they are clean, secure, and not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. You're looking at your mirrors to make sure they're secure. They're not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. Looking at your windshield wiper blades to make sure they are secure. They're not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. And the rubbers are in place. And your upper wipers you can't reach, but you can look. And then your, again, the mirror, not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. And is not leaking. Your side marker lights here, same thing as the other side. Then you have your loading light here you're looking at as well. And they're not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts, and they are not leaking. Down this side, the tire and wheel would be the same, and the rim and the hubs. And the same thing on your marker lights there. Your clearance lights up above, and your windows and glass. You're looking at your rear tires and tag axles the same as your other side. We'll move in to the inside of the bus. The door switch is right here on a coach bus. And you must be a trained operator to operate it. And be trained on the bus that you're driving and its proper functions and operations. You are looking at your door. Make sure the seal is secure. It's in place, not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. And you're looking to make sure the door is secure. The rail is secure on the door here. Your handrails, your step treads going up the stairs are secure. And it's not, the tread is not loose or coming up in any place to create a trip hazard. You're looking at your handrail here. Make sure it's secure, not cracked or damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. And you have a handrail over here. Make sure it's not cracked, damaged, broken, loose, or missing any parts. You're looking at your driver's seat as you're getting in, and make sure that it's secure. And then we're going to move in here into the driver's seat. We're going to grab the seat belt, which is down here on this one, and make sure that it is not cracked, damaged, frayed, or loose, or missing any parts. And sorry about that on the video. It's hard to do it here holding my own video camera. I apologize. Make sure that it latches properly and is secure. Then we're going to turn on the bus. We're waiting for the cycle to go through. And once it's gone through and your wait to start light has gone off, we're going to start it. And this bus is equipped with a high idle. We're going to turn the high idle on. That will allow our air pressure to build up more quickly. And the buzzer just went off so that we're building air pressure. So we're watching for that, and while we're waiting on air pressure to build, we're going to look at our gauges. We have our RPM gauge, and it is working properly. We're going to look at our voltage and our temperature and our oil pressure. Make sure that they are working properly. Our voltmeter is up there. And the oil pressure, temperature, and transmission temperature, and engine. And then we have 3 air gauges on this bus, so we're watching for those to build up. While we're doing that, we'll check our windshield wipers and washers and make sure they are working properly. That's our upper ones. And then our main wipers are right here, washers and wipers, and they are coming on and washing properly. And then we'll turn on our headlights. Sorry, dome lights, not headlights. Making sure dome lights are working properly. And they are. And our passenger dome lights, making sure they are working. And they are. Then we're going to check our heat and air conditioning system. Turn that on and make sure our fan blowers are working, and they are. And our defroster, and make sure that the defroster is blowing, and it is. And now, if you heard it, the pop-off relief valve, air pressure relief dryer valve popped off. We have 120 psi, about 122 psi there. I'm going to check our horn. It's working. Now we're going to turn the bus off. Turn the key back on. We're going to hold firm pressure on the brakes, and we're watching to make sure there's no more than 3 psi drop in 1 minute after the initial drop. And then after that, we will feather the brakes down and pump the brakes down, and we're watching for our low air pressure warning lights to come on at 60 psi. And the lights are on. And then make sure our valve releases at 20 psi. And there it just released. We'll start it back up, build up air pressure again. And while we're building air pressure back up again, we will get up and go check the rest of the bus. We're looking at our fire extinguisher to make sure it's fully charged and dated. And we have our first aid kit and body fluid kit there. And we have a second fire extinguisher on this bus, and it is fully charged and ready to go. And then we're going to walk up here and we're going to look at our seats. On our way back, we're making sure that our seats are secure. And they are. And on a coach bus that you would use the restroom, you would go in and check the restroom and make sure that it is clean and the facility is working properly. This particular bus, the restroom has been eliminated and blocked off. It is out of service for reasons. Okay. Then we're going to check the bottoms of the seats on the way back up. This has emergency exit release on every window so that you can get out of the bus quickly in an emergency. And unlike a school bus, this bus does not have buzzers that will go off if those are opened. This also has roof hatches like your school bus, but these roof hatches again don't have a buzzer. They are emergency escape hatches, and you would open them to make sure they're working properly. Then we're checking the bottoms of the seats again all the way up. As we go back to the front of the bus, we're checking the bottoms of the seats, making sure they're secure. Then when we get back to the front of the bus, we're down our stairs, and we're looking to see that our air pressure has built back up, and it has. It's at 120. We have strong air pressure. Now we will open the doors. Since we're by ourselves, we will check all of the external lights by ourselves. And before we do that, we're going to check our indicator lights on our dash and make sure that our left turn indicator works, our right turn indicator works, and our bright light indicator works. And it does. And we'll check our four-way flasher indicator. We're going to leave our four-way flashers on. We're going to turn our headlights on, and we're going to do it with those lights on. We're going to do a walk around inspection and make sure the lights are all working. Have our turn signals, our headlights, turn signal and marker lights, park lights are working. Our overhead clearance lights are working. Down the side, our marker and turn signal lights are working. Working on the side there. And our rear marker and side lights and turn signal light is working. We're looking on the back. Our tail lights are lit up, and our clearance lights are lit up, and our four-way flashers are on. Side marker lights and turn signal. Side marker lights and turn signal. Side marker light and turn signal. Our loading lights are working. Thank you for watching. That concludes the pre-trip inspection on a coach bus. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share. Bye now.